Okay, let's take a look at an answer for Lab 3.2. So in Lab 3.2, you had to go through and write a script that lets the user type in, select one or three options using an argument, and then test to see which one they chose and perform an action based on that. So let's see. I went ahead and put in the text over here. I actually fixed the spelling for those who caught that. And now I'll just go through and write some code for it. So first of all, let me go up here and set the argument value to something I know will exist. So I'll put in a 1 and execute if they selected, if 1, 2, or 3 is selected. So let me first test to see if they have anything in argument value. So if the length of argument sys.argument value, and it's not popping up here. Well, the reason why is because I haven't done the import. The import always goes to the top. Okay, and now I go sys.argument value, and I highlight the item I want, I hit enter, and it types it for me. Okay, it's got to be greater than 1. I got to have at least one item in there. And if that's true, then I go through and do some additional processing. And that will be if argument value item 1 is equal to 1, then I'll say print, and I've already got the text I want, so I'll copy that, holding down the control button and dragging and dropping. Now I can do that on this next line as well, control drag, except that it will be elif. And if it's 2, I want to print you chose 2. And same thing again, control drag. If you chose 3, print you chose 3. And we'll do the next one. It's just a else. Let's see. Please choose 1, 2, or 3. So I think that's it. Execute if 1, 2, or 3 is selected. Get them the argument value. Well, let's see. Get the argument value would be something like this. We're looking for an integer, so I'll go ahead and say integer how about integer choice? I'll say I want to take argument value and convert to an integer. Now it makes sense that I check to see if it's available first, so I'll put that down here. And now I've accomplished that piece, get argument value. So now it reads it once, converts it to an integer, and then instead of actually going through and asking for it out of the collection each time, I'll just use this variable. I read the collection once and then I just use the variable, plus it has the advantage of being converted over to an integer one time instead of multiple times. I prefer spaces after my variable names. So let's see how we're doing now. Execute if 1, 2, or 3 is selected. That's not exactly what we're doing here, but it's kind of in the spirit. They have to have selected something. Now what we need to do is we need to to go through and say, if it's true that the choice, I need to put this in a different spot. So if it's true that the choice is 1, 2, or 3, then we do something. Yeah, that'll work. So first of all, check to see if it's there. And then if it is, do another check. This other check is it 1, 2, or 3? Now, I gotta tell you, we've actually already accomplished that by just going through and checking these, so I don't need to do anything more. I could have put an if statement there and checked it twice, but what would be the point? Okay, so let's see if I got this right. See if you've got one. If you do, go ahead and pull out the value. Get the value. Then try this block of statements here. If it's true, they chose 1, else did they choose 2, else did they choose 3. If they didn't choose any of those, print this out. I think we got it. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if it's going to work. So we'll go ahead and run that. And the argument comes out as nothing. I don't see anything here. Now, I think it's because I ran, let's see, it's running the code. Let's break it down and see why. So I'll go through and I'll put a little breakpoint here, and I'll try that debugging feature. Okay, next. Thank you. I don't think I want to see the Python code. Let's try this again. Run. Why are you not giving me my breakpoint? Oops, because I'm not doing the debug. There we go. Okay, next. There we go. What is the length of the argument? I'm highlighting that whole section, and it's the length and the argument value. I'm going to go down here and hit the little plus sign for a watch. I'll type in length sys dot argument value. Come on. Length sys dot argument value, and I think I have to hit enter. There we go. And according to this, the length comes out to 1. So it's not true that it's greater than 1. Well, that makes sense. So it never even got past there. It went ahead and just jumped down to the bottom. Now, we do have an argument. Let me go ahead and hit this button. We'll step out and be done with the code. We do have an argument in there. So I'll go over here and I'll say edit configuration. Oh, we don't. Thought I put one in there. Okay, I'll put a 1 in there. And let's try this again. Now it says that there's an error because it hasn't been defined yet, and that's because we're on line 1 at this point in time and it hasn't run that line of code. When it pauses there, it's about to run that line of code. Okay, I'll have to step into. Now let's process that code, and you can see that there's 2 arguments. Okay, that's exactly what we were hoping for. And now it goes through, we get our choice. It was 1. That should print out 1. If I go to the console, I can see you chose 1. Okay, so I'll go ahead and let's see here. Is it done? Looks like it's all done running. So I'll just go ahead and close this and run this again. This time it comes out you chose 1, and I should test it in place. So I'll go to the command prompt and I'll just change this over to lab 03-2. And how I typed out so fast, guys, I just hit the up arrow. And you can see nothing's coming out because I didn't put any arguments in. So I think I need to let the user know that they need an argument. This time I did. So I think I'll go back and update my code to be else print you need to pass in a single number between 1 and, let's make it of 1, 2, or 3. That should be clear. Looks like the newer version of PyCharm is actually auto-saving. Yeah, cool. So apparently it auto-saves. I don't have to save it like I did in previous versions. So yeah, now it's working correctly, and I'll put in, I don't know, 3. Comes out you chose 3. So cool, it's working the way I expect. Remember that if you're using arguments, you should always test it in the command window just to verify that it's going to work for the end user as expected. This tool here, where you go through and you give it an argument and you can test it in PyCharm, it's a sweet tool. It's great because it saves you some time, but it isn't exactly what the user experiences, so it's usually a better idea to go ahead and test it as the user will use it later on. Okay, hopefully you did well on that exercise. Again, as always, remember that my code isn't the best code. It's just a way of solving the problem. Every time I type out this exercise, it always comes out a little different. So if you typed out code that works but is a little different than mine, that is fine too. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.